Hello everybody again, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is September 14th. My name is Barry Schwartz again, and this is the news we cover over at the Search Engine Roundtable. Thanks for listening, and we will be very quick and very brief. So, Google's Marissa Mayer did a post at the Google blog explaining some things that she thinks in terms of what the future of search is, and I found her post pretty interesting. Obviously not too telling, but pretty interesting. Overall, I mean, when she said, you know, what do I find to be the ideal search engine, she said basically it's your best friend, and I'll quote you, your best friend with instant access to all the world's facts and a photographic memory of everything you've seen and known. The search engine can tailor answers to you based on your preferences, your existing knowledge, and the best available information. It could ask for clarification and present the answers in whatever setting or media worked best. I mean, that's a really good answer to what you want the future of search to work. You basically want it to work, and you want it to work for you, not for your neighbor. So what does this mean for Google? I mean, basically the next step is to really for them to build out more features and more tools. And she said basically making search even more accessible wherever you are or however you are, using cell phones, handhelds, in your car, or even in your clothing. Also, make sure you can even speak your query, use voice or natural language to search for things. Maybe why can't I upload a picture from my camera phone and tell that could be my query, or a video, or maybe even display the results, not just 10 blue links, but more of a universal search approach, but beyond that. In addition, obviously personalization, social aspects, making sure you understand all these different languages out there, and a lot more. So there's a lot more to go. She said that 90% of search is answered, but the last 10% is about 90% of the work. So it's a very interesting post, and definitely recommend you check it out. It's been a very active week for Googlers, posting some very interesting topics over at the Google Groups forum. So I'm going to cover about 5 Google Groups posts, and I'm going to do them as fairly quickly as possible, all in one setting. So here, first is the site links. Basically, a lot of answers came up from how site links work. One question was, why when I log into Webmaster Tools does it show one grouping of site links versus when I do a search in Google it shows a different grouping of site links? Why are they different? So the answer was 2 things. One is site links are determined based on algorithm and a user's queries. So while Webmaster Tools shows 8 links for your verified site, it's possible that the search results show only a subset of those links, i.e. only 4 links. In addition, site links displayed in the search results can vary according to the query. Like when you do a search, your meta tag is not always used for your description. It sometimes varies based on the query. I haven't seen evidence of that come up when I do searches, but that's supposedly what happens. There's some interesting things too. Site links are displayed based on 1, a relevant structure for your site conductive to the site links, and also that the site links will be helpful for the user's query. 2, new site links are not immediately available for you to block an old site link. So when you block an old site link, the new ones don't immediately come up. It takes time for Google to figure that out. 3, every time you visit a site link's page in Webmaster Tools, whether or not you modify your site links settings, the blocked site links will be renewed, and it will take about 90 days for that to show up. Your site links you must also have 3 unblocked site links, at least 3 plus more than 3 unlinked site links in your site in the Webmaster Tools section for the show. Meaning Google will only show if you have 4 site links. If you block all of them but 3, Google will not show 3. They will only show up to 4. So if you only have 3 showing up, Google will not show you site links on the search results. Number 2 thread is, when should you submit a re-inclusion request to Google? And Google goes through various answers to when you should. Obviously, you have to make sure everything's cleaned up. Don't submit it before, etc., etc. So definitely take a look at that post on September 9th if you need to submit a re-inclusion request. On September 10th, we wrote about why are my images missing from Google, and it's been a pretty popular topic. Obviously, Google's image filter has been up and down in terms of the sensitivity factors. But basically, Evan over at Google says, 1 is you should definitely make sure that your sites are indexed and use the site command to do that. Then turn off if it's not indexed, make sure to flip the switch and turn on or off monitor search so you can see all images, and maybe if you see your images are now coming up, that means your site has been your images have been flagged as adult. In addition, go through different various things. Images are ranked not just based on their alt text and their title tag, but they're also ranked based on the parents or linking page, meaning the page that actually is hyperlinking to it, or including embedding that image on the page. So there's a lot of things to consider in terms of how images are ranked. Definitely take a look at this post. I wrote about it on September 10th. Also, there's a post about redirects, how you should do it, when you should do it, when you should use 301s, when you're moving a site, etc., etc. There's a big, long post about that. We discussed this a lot in the past. I'm not going to go into detail, but if you want to learn more about it, September 9th is our post. Finally, Google talks about how they communicate different things to webmasters. Obviously, there's a huge section of webmaster tools. They go through each different scenario in terms of how they communicate different things, such as messages, such as using Google Groups, such as violations, such as crawl rates and stuff like that. So definitely take a look at that if you're interested in that. September 9th as well. Google on Friday, September 12th, actually went ahead and Google Germany at least went ahead and dropped all or many of the adult video sites, such as RedTube, YouPorn, all these different sites that are like YouTube but are obviously around porn. Why did they drop them from Google Germany? Because it's against Germany law to have such sites listed in a search engine. Earlier this week, Google one of the Tribune papers posted a link to an old story about United Airlines going bankrupt from 2002. It was basically an old story, an old URL. It was featured on the most popular links on their homepage. Google News bot, their engine went ahead and found that link on the website, on the paper's website, indexes it as a new content. Why did they index it as a new content? Google says because the page itself didn't have a date. The only date they found was on a date of September 7th, meaning it was new. The article itself was not dated if you look at it, but as an algorithm, obviously, if they see any date on the page, it makes it seem like it was from the September 7th, which is basically a new post. Tribune saying, no, it's not our fault, yada yada, because basically because it was an old URL, it was never updated. All we did was link to it from the homepage, meaning as a popular story, but it definitely was not a new URL or a new story posted by us. Google says, well, you didn't date it. But the result of that basically was the United Airlines stock dropped 12% overnight or over the course of a day because of it. So now the SEC is actually looking into this, see if there's any fraud or whatever. So we should learn more about this over the time. But the question is, who's to blame? Is it Google or is it Tribune or somebody else? We did a blog post on Friday, September 12th, basically saying who's to blame. We have a poll there. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Would love to see what you think and who's to blame. Remember a week or two ago, Google told us they're going to update their algorithm for AdWords to be more dynamic, meaning the quality score be determined dynamically on the search query, on a search query level as opposed to on a keyword level. So that basically means advertisers are all anxious and nervous about how this is going to actually impact their ranking and their minimum bids. But right now, AdWords advisors said at Webmaster World that we still have some time to wait. Google's still testing it out, and they promised to let us know when they're going to push this out or not. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but Google News Archive Search, their news archives database, actually increased their level of what they index, and it's pretty cool. Now they actually show actual papers, as in newsprints. Like you can actually look at the newsprint; it will highlight the text that you search for. They've done this in New York Times and several other papers. They're constantly adding more to it, but it's very cool. You can search ads, you can search articles, you can search anything that was found in the actual paper, view it on the paper as well. So it's pretty fun to play with, and Google says they're going to actually add more to it, which would be also very excellent. If you have some time, go to our poll. We have a poll on the website asking, do you Google yourself? We have lots of responses so far, about over 150, almost 200. But the poll's on September 10th. Go to seroundtable.com, go to the archives, click on September 10th, and take our poll. We want to know if you Google yourself. I personally Google myself all the time. It's part of reputation management, and I do for all my brands as well. As you can see, I'm trying to get it more compact, more detail, as well as less detail, more briefs, and quicker and quicker. So I appreciate you listening to the video recap. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, definitely let me know. I love to get emails about if you think it's enjoyable or if I should stop doing it, because I really get feedback on it. Feel free to comment at YouTube, rate it as well, or even comment at seroundtable.com, because the feedback is important for me to actually improve these video recaps. And I'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the news covered at seroundtable.com. And this is the end of the September 14th edition. See you guys next week. Everyone have a great and wonderful week.